Welcome back to Sitting with Ashley. I'm in bed. It is chilly weather, and I want to be in bed. But I wanted to do a video about imposter syndrome. I'm just using my flashlight because it's very dark in my room. Okay. Let's talk about imposter syndrome. So I think, so I've had this plan. I'm just gonna use myself as an example because I had to work through this shit. I think as you do your internal work, it becomes easier to like understand why you think you're an imposter or why you think you're not good enough. And remember, a lot of the times this is because other people have told us this, right? Little dude bro is gonna come crashing in. Anyway, so like for a long time I was like on this trajectory to be this healer, right? I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna do all this work. And then I couldn't stop smoking, so I felt like a fraud, right? I was like, oh my god, I'm such a fake. And you can see that if you go back into my videos, you can see that before I quit smoking, I was very much I was way less authentic. I was very much more what? Do you need a sweatshirt? A wedgie? Help? With what? Oh my god, no matter what. Hang on, I'll BRB. BRB. Bro! Okay, so anyway, oh, shit. The, imposter syndrome is just this idea that, like, you can't do something because it's usually based in, like, comparing, you know, yourself to someone else, or your, I really like these light rays, or just, you know, embodying what other people have told you about yourself. What is that? Interesting. Embodying shame or guilt or, you know, people always constantly project on others. And I think that's where a lot of imposter syndrome comes from, but I think most of us know that. So, for getting over it, for me, when I quit smoking, it was like I finally was, because smoking for me was such a, it was a tool I was using to oppress myself, right? Or suppress my voice, right? Literally. And I did a lot of emotional work to understand why I was still smoking. I did a lot of psychological analysis on myself to understand why I couldn't quit this habit, why I was voluntarily allowing myself to be silenced in this way, right? Not to mention the health aspect, but the health aspect is the reason I finally was able to quit. It was the catalyst I needed to realize the damage that I was doing, right? But in doing that, in quitting, I was able to really step into who the fuck I am supposed to be. And I don't think I've totally embodied that yet. I think there's still limiting factors and that stuff that I'm working on. But I just wanted to get on here and tell you that if there's something that you want to do or something that you see for yourself, and I'm going to do the collective convo about the higher self today. I didn't do it yesterday, but I brought my computer in here, so I'll do it in here. Or I'll do it today because I think that these two things are connected. Having an imposter syndrome is because there's some sort of sorry, I'm making sure the song goes on. There's some sort of inability to be stepping into your full authenticity, right? whatever that is for you, and it's different for everyone. I'm just using smoking as an example, but I think that's a pretty solid example because, you know, you can kind of pick smoking and see what it is for your life and kind of insert, you know, maybe it's overspending, maybe whatever it is. You know, I don't need to give you the examples. You know what it is for you. But I think that being authentically yourself is very powerful. That's what the system doesn't want, which is why they, like, are constantly curating new things that we need to, like, you know, trends and shit. I'm gonna talk about that too, but I think that's a collective coffee. I'm so pissed that they keep changing these fucking... Oh, hang on. Let me go start this video over for him. Oh, shit, my body. I got you, bro. I heard it. Alright. I think that there's, God, it's so cold in here, but I refuse to turn the swamp cooler off because it's gonna get hot the next couple days. It's going back into the 90s, fucking asshole. Anyway, I'm over it. I'm over the degrees of 90s, not the generation or decade. Speaking of, I was just doing a Walmart order and I was like, do they still make Tahitian treat? Because I used to get so stoned and drink that shit. It's basically just red 40 and corn syrup. It's the best goddamn soda. They do still make it, but you have to buy it from like a vending company, so it's very expensive. So I'm gonna buy that and treat myself to it. I got the regular basic ass Hawaiian punch, and I think I'm just gonna add Sprite to try and get the soda effect. Those are my plans. I'm also gonna make a spicy Alfredo pasta tonight, if I'm not out of energy by that time. Literally just adding jalapeno to the Alfredo sauce and sauteing it a little bit. That's about the extent of my cooking. Anyway, oh, I'm so comfy. I think that whatever you want to do and whatever you feel like is like a hurdle in the way of that, that's kind of a starting point for healing work, right? Or at least introspection, and be like, why do I feel like an imposter? I believe that if it's something that you've always wanted to do or something that you've always found passionate, maybe you just don't have the skill set for it, but you've always had this drive or passion or curiosity for it, then it's something definitely worth exploring. And I think that, you know, at some point you become the only person in your way, you know, and check around, like be mindful of who's around you enabling your limiting beliefs, right? And we've done plenty of collective convos on that, but what I mean by that is, you know, who wants you to be dependent on them, or who wants to be dependent on you, right? And what do they use to, you know, keep you stuck, keep you in that space when it's something that they know you're not proud of, or, you know. So for instance, going back to the smoking, you know, my mom was like, well, you'll quit when you're ready to quit. And I thought that was supportive because I wasn't ready to quit at that time. But honestly, what I really needed was someone to kick me in the ass and be like, what the fuck are you doing? And I had to do that for myself, you know, and I think a lot of the times we do. And I was just like, I got to that point where I was like, bitch, put the shit down. Like, fuck you. You know, you've got so much more to live for. What are you doing? Like, this is limiting your life. Like, stop. So I think I recognized that the support for my own negative behaviors was indeed not support. It was enabling of my failure. It was enabling of my limiting of myself. So I just want to help, or I hope this helps. I'm not going to keep this very long. I'm going to do another one about higher self. You guys want to see what we're watching? So this is what Niall watches now. Alright, can you see it? Under the Sea. Welcome to our bedroom. But anyway, I'm gonna let you go before this child does more interrupting. I hope this helps. I think that this is something that we, especially with like social media, most people like compare themselves. Don't compare yourself to anyone, you know? Everyone has different skills, you know? Everyone has different experiences. So, like, maybe you want to be like this athlete, but you're not as good as someone else. And you're like, oh, well, I just am not going to do it at all. Bitch, have fun with it, right? Like, my aerial swing, I'm not doing all that shit on an aerial swing. I just use it to swing. Like, fucking chill. And it's fun. I feel like I'm flying. So, you know, do what you want. I think that's what it basically comes. Oh, God, my hair is fucking everywhere. Like that Dashboard Confessional song. Your hair. Okay. Bye.